Actually, this producer today had a wine tasting. He had a wine presentation this morning. João will talk about it. Unfortunately, it was...
Can you hear us, João?
João, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
You have to click on your camera button to enable your camera.
I saw that.
There we go.
Hi,
Hello.
Mr. João.
Just
Good afternoon, sir.
better.
How are you?
Okay, I'm well, and you?
We're
Fine,
good.
thank you.
Okay.
I was telling Andre that you had today a wine presentation, but of course all of this changed our plans, but you're still here. You're still presenting your wines. You had a presentation for 25 people. Now we have the possibility of showing 2,500 people. So it's it's a win situation.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's a sad situation, of course, for everyone, but it was, I think, a good decision to postpone the presentation.
And I was sad about the postpone, because I was very happy when here in Portugal 1 week we showed the producers. To see your name there was very good for me, because I really like your wines. So.
Yeah, but we had another time to present the wines and be with the friends.
We'll do.
It will be very.
So tell us about your project. Where are you from? I know you work with 2 regions. Talk a bit about about that.
Yes, I start my work in the vineyards since '89, so it's been 30 years now. And one day we decided that it was important to be present in another region, because, as you know, we started with the Vinho Verde, and Vinho Verde is not so easy to be in the market at that time. So the red wines was something that we would like to have in our portfolio, and it's the reason that we trying to find another property for the reds. Of course, the Dow, it was one of the fantastic regions in Portugal to produce reds. Of course, whites and another kind of wines, but reds, it was the main goal for us, and it was that idea to bought the Quinta da Vigia in the ends of the 90s. 99. Okay. Yes.
And tell us more about the Quinta da Vigia. What kind of wines are you making there?
Yeah, so, you know, the wine business is something that we build every day, and we start with the idea to produce 2 red wines, and nowadays we produce 6 wines, 2 whites, and then 4 reds. You know, when we start to build a project with our vineyards, as you know, we are an independent wine grower. We produce wines only our grapes. We're starting to try to bring our terroirs to our clients, and we found several terroirs in our properties, and then we can achieve to do different wines. And today, at least 6.
Okay. And what do you have to show us today?
Just let me just tell something, because I don't think it was clear. Casa de Selo has 2 quintas, so yes. San Juan in the Vinho Verde region, and as Mr. João told, Quinta da Vigia in Down region. So are you going to show us 2 wines from the 2 regions today?
No, I show it one wine from each region. I brought the first in the Quinta de San Juan. I don't know.
Can you hold it a bit
closer?
Closer.
Okay.
So it's in fact it's our Quinta de San Juan Escolha.
Okay.
Okay.
This is 2015. It's a wine that I'm very attached, because it's one of the first Vinho Verde where we're starting to do with some barrels and aging and prepare the wines to grow in the time.
So that's a Vinho Verde with oak.
At that time, no, but in the beginning, yes, with '98, we're starting aging the wines in oak. The idea was to show that Vinho Verde area It's a fantastic region to produce white wines. I must tell you, one of the best Portuguese regions to produce white wines. And try to explain that the terroir of Casa de Cel and Quinta de San João is very interesting. So the aging the wines in barrels, it was very important. Since the 2009, we decided to skip the barrels from the wines and trying to be more simple in the way that we produce the wines. In fact, we have some reason because the wine's aging also very well without oak, and it shows again the quality of the region.
So
this one
if
is
I recall correctly, you have
yes.
4 or 5 different whites from San João,
At
starting with
that
Terroir
moment,
Mineral.
yes, we have Terroir Mineral, we have the monovarietal Alvarinho, we have this one Escolha, and we have the top level Superior. And we launched this year again Spartan 2011 Grand Cuvée, Grand Reserve Brut.
Looking forward to taste it.
Yeah.
Should we talk about this one?
It was yes, it was possible today morning, but
so we talked about San João. Now let's talk a bit about Vigia. Where is Vigia in the Dão?
Vigia is near the town, the fantastic, beautiful town of Penalva do Castelo, and 30 kilometers east from Viseu. And we are in the sub-region Castelo, and we are very interesting. Quinta de Vigia is a fantastic property. We are very, very delighted with, because the different kind of soils we can find in the property. We are one plot area, 20 hectares. It means that it's very interesting to try to find in that area, one plot, several different terroirs, soils, not terroir soils, and that it's very interesting for us to try to find the best way to produce the style.
Can you show us the red you brought?
Sorry?
Can you show us the red wine you brought?
Oh yes. Well, I think today our Superior 2013. It's a Touriga Nacional and Tinta Roriz blend. It's aged in barrels from Hermitage, from the forest of Bertrange, and is the very low toast. Very low toast. So the idea is to preserve all the simplicity of the wines and trying to manage the best we can the tannin.
Mr. João, if I recall correctly, you tend to on the reds, on the Vigia wines, you tend to keep the wines a bit longer on your cellar. And what's the years the vintage you are selling at the moment?
So at this moment, for the current vintage, we're starting with the 2015, and for the top, we are in the 13th.
Okay, 2015, 2013.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendation about what should we eat with your wines?
Well, what we want. It's the best thing.
I can tell you what I would eat with your wines.
Yeah,
but
I know.
I want your personal opinion.
Me too. The issue is what kind of food you have in your country to drink with our wines. So we can speak about, of course, the meat. In the meat, we can have the meals. In the meals, we can have the meat, and it's very interesting to go a little bit far outside of this mainstream to see what's happened with the wines. Of course, that is for maybe for the people who are a little bit more knowledge about the wines. However, if you speak about Portugal, the goat is fantastic for the wines of Dão and for the Quinta de Vigia, of course. Some cheeses. It's very difficult to understand some cheeses, but there are some cheeses goes very well with the red wines, as you know. But of course, white wines are more interesting for cheese normally. But we have also the stews, is something that is very interesting also. But in general, the DAO is it's a region that our red wines goes very well with the food around the world.
I don't know if you agree with me. I love to use Down red wines since they have the nice body and high acidity. To use the Down wines to pair with meat with fatty sauces. With the stews are great, but the meats with nice intense fatty sauces. The wine has the structure to go alongside the meat, and then it has the acidity to cut the richness of the sauce and clean your palate and prepare you for the next wine. Down is a unique region for that, and your wines are not exception.
Yeah, you have reason. When I thought in stews, I thought mainly with our mischers, you know.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. I don't know.
Mischers are a Portuguese mushroom.
Mushrooms, yes. Portuguese, no. Saturn mushrooms made by the forests near Penal do Castelo in the Saturn region. Be more specific, of course.
So thank you very much. Can you tell us how many bottles you produce in the Vinho Verde and in the Down region?
Yeah, as you know, we are in Vinho Verde. We are a producer a little bit outside of the mainstream. We never put CO2 in our wine since the beginning, and we don't no sugar residual in our wines. So the wines are not committed with the mainstream consumers. And on level of the prices, we are also a little bit more outside of the average prices of the region.
Please talk to us about that.
Sorry?
Tell us about that. How many bottles you do, and what's the average price of your wines?
So the reason that we have 14 hectares and we produce around 35,000 bottles per year.
Okay.
Yes, and the average price is around €6. The average price of the 35 bottles, and but you know, we go for prices in the shelf by €6 until 29, 30 euros.
Yes, in the year we can see the wines going for €35 roughly. How many bottles you do in Vigia?
In Vigia, we turn around. It's a more new product. We turn around 30,000. We did last year. 30,000 bottles, and the average price is around between the entry level is the same price of the Verde, €6, between €6 and €7, and the top with this one, the Quinta de São João Superior, we are around €50 in shelf price.
Going back to the food,
Andrea.
I actually think São João is, but I'll ask Gonçalo about that, of course, but I actually think São João is one of those ranges of wines that are really interesting to pair with some fine dining kind of. We've been talking about Portuguese food and we've been talking about other popular food, but I would like to talk specifically about the elegance and the elegance of flavors and textures and everything that fine dining has. And I think São João is one of these producers that fits really well into this kind of fine dining restaurants and fine dining cuisine.
Of course. First of all, talking about a small producer, a niche producer that has a story to tell. You have a place to show on the wine. So first of all, that's very good for us to work with. And then from in the Vinho Verde, you have a huge range of 4 different wines. Starting with the Terroir Mineral, which I love to work by the glass, for example, very good value for money. It's
how much are we talking about in terms of Terroir Mineral in a retail price?
The retail price is around €7, maybe. So
okay.
€7. We can work by the glass. It's great value for money. And I normally use to pair with the first courses, with the starting courses, because you need the high acidity to clean the palate of the guest. And then we start normally with some seafood, of course, the classic seafood for these styles of wine. But it's also very good with scallops. Not very buttery, fatty scallops, but fresh scallops are great with these kinds of wine, with this style of wine as well.
Yeah, you know, the idea is bring to our consumers the terroir of our properties. That is the main thing. The character of our wines coming from the terroir. The most important thing is to produce fantastic grapes. As you know, my wife and myself, we are paying a lot of attention to the vineyards and trying to produce the best grapes we can.
Well, João, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you.
André Gonçalo, thank you very much for listening us a little bit, and we keep very strong in your projects. We are fantastic.
Thank you very much. I hope some people book some meetings with you. You're available on the one-to-one meetings. And,
yes, of course.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I see you soon. Bye.
See you soon.
Thank you, João. Bye-bye.